Jay here, Stretford Paddock. This is the Paper Talk. As you can see, I'm in my kitchen. We are live, so get involved in the chat and the comments. We've gone later today. We're going to be talking about all the latest Manchester United news, but we're doing a bit of a later one today because we had the transfer review today instead of yesterday because of the Leeds game yesterday. So I thought, you know what? Let's still have his transfer review. Let that sort of play out for the day. And then if there's anything happening, I'll jump on a bit later than normal and we'll have a chat because I do like our Sunday chats. And it seems as though there are a few things happening. So we'll be getting into all that. Good to see the usual suspects in the chat as always. Akash K is there. Santa Notch is there. Late opening on Sunday at Jay's Kitchen. Large Americano, please. Like it. Notch. That's why I have a large white Americano. Seeing there's a bit of a debate and a chat going on about Kobe Mainoo, which I'm all for. We'll get into that in a minute. But first of all, should we go through some of the news that's doing the rounds this afternoon? So today, this afternoon, there's been a little bit of movement, certain things going on. So the Bryan Mbeumo, should we start with that one? So Bryan Mbeumo has been pictured. I think there was some pictures doing the rounds of him. Well, I know there has because we've posted them, and also we've got him on one of them on the thumbnail. So Fabrizio Romano said Bryan Mbeumo is at Carrington for his move to Manchester United, being sealed this weekend as expected. Nice picture of him, and I assume that's his agent, although some people said it looks like me with glasses, sealing the deal. Or is it his dad? I don't know. Forgive me if I'm insulting anyone there. Let me know who that actually is in the picture because I've only just recently looked at it. Anyway, he's at Carrington. He's about to sign his deal, get that deal done. It's moved quite quickly, and it once it had been sort of announced that the deal had been agreed. I don't mean the deal itself has moved quickly. It's been dragging on for weeks. But now that looks like it is going to happen. And hopefully, if he signs today, we can get him on the plane and get him over to the US. And I'll be able to see him in the flesh over there for the US tour. Me and the lads from Stretford Paddock are going to be over there, as well as obviously, hopefully, a lot of you guys. Plus, we'll be doing loads of live videos. So even if you're not in the US tour, you can still chat to us and all that. We'll be doing live podcasts, updates, the news every day from America. So make sure you tune in for that one. Yeah, Bryan Mbeumo, thankfully, looks like that's all good. No twist in the tail there. We've spoken about him extensively. I don't want to just keep repeating myself, but I'm very, very excited about that signing. Very good player. Ticks all the boxes. Scores loads of goals. I was worried. The good thing about this is I was getting worried about that deal last week or earlier let's get it right. In the middle of this week, when there was these reports, I think Laurie said like United are a few million away from what Brentford want. I thought, oh, is there going to be a twist in the tail and is this all going to go wrong? However, it hasn't. Manchester United, 65 million plus 6 million in add-ons. Yes, it's probably more than we would have liked to have paid, but I'm glad we got him. I think it's worth paying. I think just getting him is the main thing. And I don't think it's that extortionate. If it had been like 90 million, you probably wait a minute. Whoa. He hasn't got much seller value if we're going to keep him for a few years. 90 million is excessive. 65 plus 6 million. I think that's okay. I do. Let me know what you think. Get involved in the chat in the comments, and then we'll move on to something else. Stu Cantona, what a fantastic name. Says, left it. I'm good, thanks. Just got tickets versus Fiorentina. So happy chappy. Yeah, Manchester United playing Fiorentina at Old Trafford late on in the preseason. I think that's our last game before the season starts. The next game after that, I think, is the Arsenal game at Old Trafford. Moley says, is it true they're building a replica of your kitchen outside the new Old Trafford? Yeah, they're going to build actually my kitchen in the new Old Trafford. So I'll be able to do these updates from my kitchen, but actually in the ground. Ridwan says, De Gea gets his farewell. Yes, De Gea is the keeper for Fiorentina. He's going to be back at Old Trafford for that game. Right, let's have a look at Marcus Rashford. So we had the news yesterday during the Leeds game. It was a bit of a surprise that it all seemed to happen relatively quickly. We had the announcement from Ornstein, then we had the here we go from Romano, basically saying that Marcus Rashford is going to Barcelona. So we've had a little bit more info. Let me just try and find it. Sorry, I should have had this up before I started the stream, but here we are. So Manchester United looks like, Marcus Rashford is going to Barcelona. We know that. There's a story here, I think it's in the Mail, it says, revealed how much of Marcus Rashford's wages will Barcelona pay as Man United outcast closes in on Old Trafford exit. And it says here, Barcelona's contribution to Marcus Rashford's huge Manchester United salary has been agreed. There is an agreement in principle for Rashford to join Barcelona on a season-long loan. Yes, we can get into all that. Barcelona are set to pay all of Rashford's 315k a week wages during his loan move. So they're gonna. I think there was reports that he's actually going to take a slight pay cut or a bit of a pay cut to make the deal happen. And then it is with this sort of option to buy. I think in the around the £30 million, £35 million mark. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that. Let me just see if we've got any more updates on Marcus Rashford as well, because we know he's going. It's just sort of the devil's in the detail, as they say. I'm glad he's got his move. We did the breaking news sort of yesterday. Here we go. Sorry. Romano tweeted an hour ago, Barcelona have sealed all the documents of Rashford deal set to land in Spain. Understand Barcelona will pay €40 million gross as salary coverage plus bonuses linked to appearances. Marcus takes 15% pay cut and Man United will not cover his salary. And it's 30 million, as I said, €30 million by option for June 2026. Massive opportunity for Marcus Rashford. Yeah. Go to Barcelona, do well, and you get a move. And €30 million for a player the caliber of Marcus Rashford next year isn't bad for Barcelona if he does the business there. He just needs to, because you don't get many opportunities like this when you've just had 2 underwhelming seasons. So I hope he takes the most of it, and I hope Manchester United get that 30 million and reinvest it. And I said it yesterday, and I said it again. I wish Marcus Rashford well. I do. I hope he goes there and smashes it. It feels as though things are beginning to take shape, doesn't it? On the whole Ruben Amorim team squad sort of makeup. Because now we've got Matheus Cunha in, you've got Bryan Mbeumo in, and we saw Diego Leon yesterday, obviously, making his debut for Manchester United. Remains to be seen whether he'll be a first-team player, whether he'll... I think the talk is that he is going to stay with the squad rather than go out on loan, but we'll see how much he features. But you can see that there's something happening there in terms of the players coming in and players that can fit into the system. Marcus Rashford, big name, going, hopefully on a permanent deal. Yeah, it feels like the Ruben Amorim era is getting underway. As me and Joe was saying on the preview, we're not going to count last season. This is where it starts for him. Akash K says, fully agree, Jay. Rashford has nowhere left to go to if this Barca move doesn't go well. Huge pressure at Barca to perform every week. I hope he's up for it. Jamie Riley says, Jay, you smashing it, our kid. Thumbs up and a love heart emoji. Thank you, Jamie. I love that. Nice bit of positivity. Angel Martinez says, I'm excited to see Joshua Zirkzee play with Cunha and Mbeumo. Yep, I know I'm excited as well. Did a video on that a few weeks ago, maybe a couple of months ago, saying that I think that could work if we don't get another striker. However, we are being linked with strikers. So it's all happening here, but I don't know how much of it is true. So United have been linked. I think Ben Jacobs said United have got a striker shortlist, which includes Nicholas Jackson. I'm just telling you what's being said. Don't start getting angry with me. Some of you were getting a bit moody on it a few weeks ago when we did the Nicholas Jackson links. I'm only telling you what's being reported. Benjamin Sesko and Ollie Watkins. They're being linked with moves to Manchester United. I can kind of see it with all of them. I'm not too keen on the Nicholas Jackson one. I ain't going to lie to you. His numbers are all right. But when I watch him, and I'm a simple man, I go old school me. I just watch footballers and try and decide off what I've seen. I know that sounds insane. He does look a little bit all over the gaff at times. I don't know if he comes to Manchester United and does really well. I worry that he won't. Ollie Watkins, I think that makes sense. Scores loads of goals consistently in the Premier League. Seems to be a good lad. I know you might go, what are you, Jay's dad? But we've had a few players come here and it's either been too big for him or they've not had the right mindset or even, dare I say, attitude. I don't like using that word, but sometimes it's appropriate. However, with Ollie Watkins, you do get the impression that he won't cause any dramas, can score in the Premier League. I think that'd be a good signing if you can get him. Obviously, a little bit older, you ain't going to get much in terms of selling value, but you could probably get at least 2 seasons out of him, and that wouldn't be too shabby. So just on the Gyokeres one as well, I think it's Simon Stone, because there's been links sort of today with Viktor Gyokeres. Apparently he's not happening at Manchester. He's not done that. He's going to Arsenal, being linked with Manchester United, and these sort of rumours have surprised a lot of people. However, Simon Stone from the BBC has been on the channel before. He tweeted 44 minutes ago, if I'm going to be precise, strong sense Man United being used in political game re Gyokeres. So it looks as though from what I'm reading, I don't think many people are saying, or many people that I trust are saying that Gyokeres is going to come to Manchester United, or that Manchester United are even in for him, in for him. It just feels like this is a bit of a rumor. This is being started by Gyokeres' camp to try and get Arsenal to get a wiggle on and get that deal done to the Emirates. So I'm not getting too excited or distracted by the Viktor Gyokeres to Manchester United news, if I can call it that. It definitely feels as though it's just a little bit of mischief making by his camp because they want to get this move to Arsenal done. And as it stands, it hasn't been done. And there's a little bit of a worry that maybe it isn't going to get done. So that's what I think that is. Let me know what you think in the chat and the comments, because I think one of the issues, but one of the ways we're all looking at this now is we'd all sort of resigned ourselves to the fact that Viktor Gyokeres was going to Arsenal anyway. So most of us were like, well, who cares about Viktor Gyokeres? We ain't going to sign him. Let's just move on. Has that made us sort of think, well, if we could get him, we don't want him anyway? I don't know, but I don't think this move's happening. I think he'll end up going to Arsenal, and I think it's just that. It's just what Simon Stone was saying, a bit of political manoeuvring. Benjamin Sesko is an interesting one, though. Let me get into some of the comments, and I'll come back to Benjamin Sesko, because it looks like, ignore that banging about, it's me dog. It looks like it could be something in the Sesko ones. At least he's on a shortlist. Gyokeres, nothing. Aran Siri says Watkins will be cheaper and has Prem experience. Chef Valhalla says Sesko or Moane. Moane has egged output for less than Ekitike. Seems weird. Arsenal are taking so long over Gyokeres, says Daniel Berry. Yeah, it has dragged on a little bit. I mean, we took ages on Bryan Mbeumo, but considering it was it about a week or two ago that it seemed that the clubs were in agreement over the fee, and the player and his agent had spoke to Arsenal, and there didn't seem to be any problems there. So what is the hold up? What is going on? I know the relationship between Viktor Gyokeres and Sporting has just descended into farce. I mean, the president came out and criticised him. They thought that he won't go back to training. It wasn't very nice the way it's all ended with him. So it wasn't very nice. I like me gran, but it wasn't, was it? So it looks like he's heading out the door at Sporting. You thought he was going to Arsenal. United, again, never really in for him, to be honest. There was never any sort of indication that United had put a bid in, were preparing a bid, thought we had enough money, had spoken to the player. It was literally, he's available, there's a buyout clause, he's played for Ruben Amorim, he scores loads of goals, Manchester United need goals, we need a striker, he fits the system. That makes sense. That's how it felt, without any sort of reports, concrete reports that United had put a bid in, spoke to the player, spoke to the club, spoke to his agent. None of that. It was literally just, oh, well, logically, United should be in for him. Logically, Bryan Mbeumo should be got to Spurs because they're in the Champions League and Thomas Frank was his manager. But he's not. He's coming to Manchester United because he knows we're a much bigger club. So you can't always look at logic. United don't have any money, really, to spend on Viktor Gyokeres. Not that kind of money. Now, you might go, okay, we've got Marcus Rashford off the wage bill. There's frees up a little bit of cash. We're still trying to move on Alejandro Garnacho, still trying to move on Jadon Sancho, still trying to move on Anthony. If we get those deals done, then yes, we will have money to spend. But as it stands, we haven't got those deals done. Viktor Gyokeres doesn't want to be at Sporting. He isn't training, apparently. So that's all gone south. That deal needs to happen sooner rather than later. I can't imagine Sporting or his agent or ever going, well, let's wait and see if Manchester United fancy him once they've potentially sold Anthony Garnacho and Jadon Sancho. No. Doesn't feel to me like there's anything in that. Great Rosalind says, why nobody is talking about Mateta? That is what we should be going for. I take Mateta to Man United every day. I hate Steve Race. I'll take Sesko. He was Arsenal's number one. Only taking Gyokeres because he wants them for Champions League. Bring me Sesko and watch him bang a brace against Arsenal first game. Chef Valhalla makes a great point. Aren't we glad we didn't get Mattis Tell? Do you remember the meltdown people were having about the fact that Mattis Tell was got to Spurs? Now, look, I know Spurs won the Europa League, but they didn't win it because of Mattis Tell. That would have been a stupid move to me. And I think Bayern, was it Bayern he came from? Was it Bayern? Where's he? Yeah, Mattis Tell. I should know. I covered it enough times. But he was linked with United. It was Bayern, wasn't it? a little bit, but then Bayern apparently it wasn't just a loan. They wanted his, a loan with a sort of obligation to buy. United were like, we ain't doing that. It made a lot of sense that United didn't get him. Someone just said then, sorry. Tapiwan Nick Sam says, never say never, Jay. We might just pull a fast one. Listen, I've seen Manchester United sign Eric Cantona from Leeds. I've seen us sign Andy Cole from Newcastle. I've seen us sign Robin van Persie from Arsenal. It can happen. Strange things can happen. I get that. I just don't see us signing Viktor Gyokeres. And to be honest with you, I was all right on Viktor Gyokeres. I wasn't like Adam Collar was like, no at all. I thought Viktor Gyokeres was like made a lot of sense, but it ain't going to happen. And also, he's not exactly covered himself in glory the way he's been carrying on. Let's talk about Benjamin Sesko, because it looks like there could be a little bit more in there. His numbers are quite consistent. 21 goals in all competitions last season, 18 goals in all competitions the season before, and then 18 goals in all competitions the season before, but that season was in Austria, the last 2 seasons being at RB Leipzig in the Bundesliga. He's 22, good age, as they say. Let's have a look at, let's do the old transfer market for the full stats. I mean, other websites are available. So if I can get my act together. So in the Bundesliga, the German Bundesliga, he's got 64 games, 27 goals and 7 assists. So that's 34 goal involvements, get my words out, in 64 games. Decent, isn't it? You look at it and you go, a goal every other game is decent. It's quite all right. His career total is like pretty much that. It's pretty much a goal involvement. It's a bit higher, actually, to be fair to the kid. A bit higher. I think he's got 126 goal involvements in 224 games across his career. So he's obviously an effective player. He's not silly numbers. He's not a Gyokeres where he's getting you 50 goals, but he is. But he consistently scores. He consistently gets assists. He's involved. Let me know what you think about Sesko, because no one was really looking at him from Manchester United point of view, because we all thought he was going to Arsenal. More people looking at Gyokeres, and now Gyokeres has got Arsenal, despite some shenanigans. And it looks like Benjamin Sesko is on our radar alongside Ollie Watkins and Nicholas Jackson. The only reason I know more about Ollie Watkins and Nicholas Jackson is we've seen more of them. We know what they can do in the Premier League because they've played in it. Of those two, Ollie Watkins would definitely be my preferred choice. But Benjamin Sesko, good young player. Would you have him? Sebastian says, hey, Jay, enjoyed the show last time with Carl. Don't believe this Gyokeres news. I don't either. Guess we are just being used to get the deal done with Arsenal. Sesko is very expensive, but seems worth it. This is a good question by Manish Bandari. Jay, what do you think about Chelsea's sales model? Buying players for 20, 30 million, playing them at 8 or 9 games, then selling them for profit. Can United do this? Would this help us in debt? It's a very dodgy policy, that, because one of the things United are doing at the minute, and I think we're doing it quite well. And Ineos haven't been flawless by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not here to be an Ineos cheerleader. I think they've made a lot of what look like mistakes, certainly PR mistakes, and will remain to be seen whether they're fundamental mistakes. But we've brought in young players, the likes of Aiden Heaven, the likes of Chido Obi, for example, the Bayik, the kid we just brought in the other day, obviously Diego Leon as well. Now, when you look at players in, like Heaven in particular, what you can say to those players is, look, you get to United, you get a chance, you get the opportunity to play in the first team. I think that is a big selling point for a lot of youngsters, because you would argue, well, why would Aiden Heaven leave Arsenal? Why would Chido Obi leave Arsenal? Club that is regularly challenging near the top end of the table and is in the Champions League practically every season now under Mikel Arteta. And these lads, I think, are from, I know Chido's originally from Denmark, but they've lived down south, so there's not like they've got ties to Manchester. And I think it is the fact that there's a pathway to Manchester United first team that encourages people to come and sign for Manchester United. This idea of getting him there and then playing him for 9 or 10 games or whatever, and then moving him on. Now, I know they're not players that cost 20, 30 million. They're players that were almost free, so that's slightly different. But if it's going to be youngsters, I'd rather we gave them a proper chance at Manchester United rather than just using them to sell them on. And if you're going to spend 20 to 30 million on a player, I think, again, you need to be giving them a chance. I don't think United can afford to take that as a sort of, take that risk of, let's just do this as a business transaction, get him in, play 10 games. If they do well, move them on. No, it's not for me. Chelsea have done very well in how they've got around PSR. And they've been fortunate in the sense that of all the players they bought, because there was a lot of players that didn't work out for them. Let's not forget that. They've spent a lot of money where you go, Mikhailo Mudryk, 80 million was it? Even someone like Enzo Fernandez, a good player, 100 million though. Casado, very good player. Again, it was 100 million. Big money on players. But they bought Cole Palmer for about 40 million. Absolute bargain. Absolute bargain. And I think their entire season is completely different if they don't do that one. Now, I know they did do it, so it's kind of a moot point. But I'm just saying you cannot rely on that model from a Manchester United point of view for me, because had Chelsea not bought Cole Palmer, I think that model would have fallen apart. Personally, you may disagree. Let me know what you think, but it's not for me. You're going on tour, mate, says Everyday Life. Yep. Daniel Berry says Mateta isn't below 40 million. Francisco J says Vlahovic is a proven player and still very young. He's only 25 years old. He is, but I don't know with Vlahovic. I feel like that ship has sailed. I feel like it maybe could have happened a few years ago. Now, I don't know. Daniel Barry says Mudryk only cost what he did because we paid that for Anthony blindly in the blind. I don't think that's true, you know. It's a myth that they only paid that because we paid that for Anthony. Arsenal were in for Mudryk for not far off what Chelsea paid. People just forget that. Shane Considine says, I've forgotten. I've changed my mind on Mateta. He had his best season last year. Luis Philippe Vala says, what about Javi Guerrera from Valencia? We spoke to Carl Anker about that because there was some reports linking us with him. And apparently it was because Carl Anker had mentioned him at the end of a podcast, almost as a flippant remark. And then that, or an article, sorry, and that had been used by someone in Spanish press or Italian press to make an article out of it that sort of gathered momentum, and then it became its own little echo chamber. So I'm not sure about that. Martin R says, Jay, what is the meaning of life? Be happy, treat people well. You'll be all right. Aaron says, Vlahovic is crap. Got a touch like a trampoline. Graham Grogan says, are you worried about Liverpool signings will create a bigger gulf between United and Liverpool? I get that. I understand that. Ronnie made the point the other week on the podcast, and I think it's a decent one, is it pains me to say it, and I never thought I'd sit here as a Manchester United fan, but it's almost irrelevant at the minute what Liverpool are doing. We ain't challenging Liverpool next season, unfortunately. We're challenging Newcastle, maybe Chelsea, maybe Villa, those kind of clubs. So those are the ones that are probably more relevant to us. It is a worry what's going on at Liverpool, but United have just got to get better, make better signings, improve the team, move on players that shouldn't be here, and hopefully over the next few years we'll be all right. Kenny Allison says, seen a couple of reports that United were looking at Gabriel Sara from Galatasaray previously at Norwich. Have you got any info on him as a player? No, I haven't. So I'm not going to pretend to sort of do some ham-fisted scouting report. We'll have a look at that. We'll have a look at any links we've got over the next few days, weeks, months, as we always do. We're going to be back tomorrow outside Old Trafford. I'm going to be back outside Old Trafford. I enjoyed this chat today. Thanks to everyone who's got involved in the comments. It's an interesting time at Manchester United, isn't it? It feels like there's a lot happening at the minute. After weeks and weeks of chasing Bryan Mbeumo, not much going on, it now feels like the club are moving forward. And Mbeumo pretty much done. Cunha obviously already done. We've already got Diego Leone in. Marcus Rashford got to Barcelona. Hopefully Manchester United can do some more business this summer. Get that striker in. Get a midfielder in. Maybe a goalkeeper. That's another debate for another time. Who knows? But yeah, hopefully Manchester United can be moving in the right direction. We will see you on tour, but before that, I'll see you outside Old Trafford tomorrow in the morning. Thank you to everyone who's been involved. Don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe. I'm Jay Motty. This has been the Paper Talk from a pretty cloudy Salford. Thanks for watching.